It's 7 o'clock, so I will call a meeting of the Village Planning Board for the March 18th meeting to order. Dan Herrick, who's the normal head of the planning board, is not here tonight, and as deputy chairman, I will conduct the meeting. The first thing on our agenda tonight is the application of Jeffrey Mays regarding the mobile food truck that's going to be located on private property at 41 Railroad Avenue. We met with Mr. Mays at the last meeting, and Mr. Mays has provided some additional information that we have requested. Does the board have any comments for the applicant? Which one just sit right up at the table?
Did this go to the county?
Yes, it'll be on tomorrow's.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Should we run through that,
The
the
list.
checklist again?
If
See if
you
we have everything, or did you already go through it?
if you do, if you think so, that's perfectly fine with me. I mean, I looked at what he had provided. I thought it did a reasonable job in terms of providing what we had asked, but certainly if the other board members would want to do that. Well, we do.
You're going to have some, well, we have the dimensions of your food truck, but you were going to have some pictures?
Well, I had this drawn up.
I mean,
There is
pictures of the food truck itself.
Not yet, it's not been over there yet. I wanted to make sure everything was good before I brought it over. I mean, in these pictures, it shows where it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think we agreed at the last meeting that we're not looking for a historical-looking food park. I mean, it's a temporary use or seasonal use.
Right, correct.
It's my understanding it would be sometime between May and October. It
Yes.
would be removed from the site
Yeah.
when you're at least by the end of October, and all the other accessories that are part of that would also be removed from the site.
Okay, well, Pete said eventually when I do close up, I can tarp it and put it over under the grass on the other property, but that's not here yet, so. If that's okay, you said it was, but I don't,
In term, and I realize that the village attorney is not here tonight, so I'll ask the building inspector, who probably knows more about this than I know that we do. Is this an annual type of application, or is it, once it's approved for good?
No, it's an annual.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he was going for, because there's a day, a week, a month, I think 3 months.
It's annual, so
Yeah.
the applicant, if the applicant
It's not a permanent.
was to continue
Yeah.
the operation next year, the applicant would have to come back?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that. We don't have all that information about the operations of the food trucks.
Yes,
in terms of-
all food trucks like that would have to be annual or,
yeah, same with the health department, it's
Yeah.
once a year, so.
Well, I have a couple things that I observed when I went there in relation to the drawing, and I would bring them to the attention of the applicant and to the board to see your feelings on it. The first thing had to do, you provided us with parking, and Thomas is a one-way street. The location of the parking or how the parking would flow seems a little up to question, okay? Things that I would suggest, and it's not really a planning board's aspect to suggest things, but we'll
That's all right.
suggest things, is that in that this is a one-way street, and in that there's plenty of place to do the parking, but you don't want the parking to create an issue where somebody pulls in off the street and the cars are parked there and the person can't get off the road, okay? It looked to me, that if you move the parking further ahead this way, so that at least there was a space for a car to pull in to get in off the road, okay? That if you put a sign on both sides of the driveway entrance that says entrance only or enter only, okay? And a sign on the Thomas Street side that says exit only. So the person, anybody that might come down Thomas Street won't pull in and be in conflict with the cars that are going the other way.
Okay.
That, to me, would be something that would help clarify the space in terms of any parking confusion.
There's no spaces marked there right now, it's just
No,
blacked out.
there's not, it's just
It's
blacked
just
out.
open, yeah.
Okay.
Should those spaces be marked?
Well, I thought about that, but then my concern was the fact that if the applicant does not continue in that same location, the person that owns the property isn't going to want to have 3 parking spaces marked out in front of their garage doors. So you know, maybe, and that's a good point, Jennifer, maybe somehow you could end up indicating park here, park here, park here, or something like that.
Further, closer to the Thomas Street.
Yes,
side.
yeah. And is there some sort of,
Like a little stanchion, like a
or,
little...
or some sort of washable paint that you could put down that would not actually be there for years and years? I mean, like maybe a coat of house paint or primer or something that could mark the locations. That probably, Jennifer, that's probably a good...
I mean, I think you should mark the spaces so that
Yep. Okay, so,
with something, I don't know if you draw them on the ground or you put some sort of sign that marks the...
well, you have to be careful of the sign, because then they can't pull forward to go out.
Well, if it's,
Well, whatever, the aspect of, these spaces need to be moved forward closer to the Thomas Street side, so that there's a space, if a car pulls off the road, the car can get into the plot without blocking the sidewalk or blocking traffic, okay? And you need to put signs on either side of the entrance here, and signs on either side of the exit here, that say exit only, entrance only, okay?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then the other thing, you show on the drawing a sign. And we knew that you would have a sign. I don't know that we discussed the aspect that it's going to be a sign that will be put out when you're operating and brought back in.
yes.
Yes, it's
Okay.
going to be a flag, you put the pole in the ground, and then you set the pole or flag on it. At the end of the day, you pull it off.
And the flag will say hot dog stand or,
Hot dogs.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
That's the one I
Okay.
ordered, so.
okay, so the sign,
It's going to be removed every night.
Yes, I'll even pull the stake out of the ground just so nobody trips on it or anything, so. And the
Okay.
flag itself is about 8 feet tall, so.
So it's a flag?
Yeah, it's like a banner, not a banner, but it's hard to describe. You go like this, and it comes straight down, it's like that. And then the pole you put in the ground, and then you put that pole, 4-inch, whatever you call it, you put that. And it just sits there and goes back and forth. so
And it
people
says hot dogs?
can- Hot dogs. Simple.
Okay.
does anyone else have any other questions for the applicant?
So just to get technical, there's no north arrow on this or date.
Oh, yeah, there were some things missing on the drawing.
Right.
Yeah, so
I can,
can add them now?
yeah, I can, the north arrow is basically straight up Railroad Avenue, up 295, you know, within basic aspect of north.
And this street light, this public lighting, that's the only street light there? Is that the only street?
I believe so. Like I said, I'll be closed well before dark, so.
We need the location of waste collection containers.
He does have a garbage
Are they
container.
on here?
Yep.
Oh, I see, okay.
I'm just gonna give him this one.
Okay.
There's no outdoor storage?
No.
Yeah.
You've got the fire hydrant noted.
Well, there's two of them, and I figured the other one going up was a little bit closer than the one coming down past the post office, so I marked that one.
We don't need a written description of the sign since it's temporary?
It's temporary, it's like the open signs and the other signs you see, if you're taking in each night, it's like,
Okay,
I view it the same thing as a sandwich board,
okay.
where a sandwich board can go out during the day and it's taken in when it's not. I mean,
I think open flags are listed in the exemption.
you end up in a case, this is a whole new thing for the planning board. We've never had an application before for a food truck, and it's actually an area in the village ordinance that we're not all that familiar with, so it's something new to us,
Well, especially on private.
and especially on private property.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
that's what I saw that was missing from this, but.
okay, what I'm gonna do is ask the applicant to sign this, and we need to put the application number on it.
Okay, I have one question. Now, the truck can be left there overnight because it's not a public street? Can
It's
be
private
left-
property.
So it can be left on that location overnight?
Yeah,
And that's what you're planning?
Yes.
yeah, because it's technically, it's a vehicle.
What's the guidance you gave him on parking? You were asking him to move the parking in,
Yeah.
and we're asking it to be marked.
Yes, thank you, I'll put that on.
And one-way signs
Yep.
in and out.
Yep.
So I'd probably do the parking coming off Railroad Avenue would be better, right?
Yes,
At the
you
side point.
I mean, I think you
from
would, yeah,
Railroad.
that would make.
Yeah, because the other way is one way, you can't have somebody pull in the street the wrong way. So
Right.
people, the flow will be the people going either way on Railroad Avenue, pull in, and then they can exit out.
Out the other
Thomas.
way on Thomas
Yeah.
Street, okay. I got that speak to if I can mark parking.
Yeah, I mean,
With some, I don't know,
chalk. How about chalk?
chalk, just something. I'm sure they probably won't mind, but not my property, so I
Right.
gotta
Right.
at least ask.
I'm looking,
Need the application number?
yeah,
2026
okay, excuse me. 2026
-30 030.
030. Okay. What I need to have you do is sign this down here and date that right there. Anybody have a pen?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, 18. Can I ask you to make a copy of this? Can somebody make a copy so that we have a copy that's been agreed to?
Francis, are you ready for a motion?
Yes.
I'll make one, okay. So I'll make the motion this is gonna be contingent on the county planning board decision for application 2026030, the approval of May's Hot Dogs And the, what are we calling this, the updated drawing
Yep. Dated May 18th.
dated May 18th.
With the following conditions.
Well,
They're on the map, they're on the
You put
drawing.
them on that?
Yeah, so
okay.
I'm not gonna, they're included in the map.
Okay, good. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes. Okay?
So I'm okay to open, it'll probably be another couple of weeks anyway, but,
We need a decision from the county.
oh, okay, first,
If you're calling,
They're usually 4 to 5 business days after meeting,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
the meeting is tonight?
tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, so next week, maybe Thursday or so, try, give a call. You'll be getting the information, right, Aaron?
can I call your
Yeah.
first?
Well, that, yeah, it goes to
You
Jennifer.
can call me, yeah.
Okay, okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You said next week? Oh, not this week, correct?
I'll let you know if it comes in.
All right, yeah, you got my number.
Yeah.
So if we're all good, I'm gonna plan everything and probably open up like June 1st, June 2nd.
Sounds good.
Oh, it's gonna rain. Let's supposed to go away the weekend. It's gonna rain the whole weekend. Let's go to Maine.
Showers.
Mud and stuff?
Well, always with the weather.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of mud.
Yeah.
Soap. No, not me. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
See you later.
Okay, the second application we have on the agenda tonight is the application for 2 Main Street, historic review, multifamily dwelling, site plan, and special use permit. Thank you. You did receive a copy of the letter that was sent to you, correct? And we appreciate that you included some of the information we were looking for. There were some things, I thought if it's agreeable with the board, I would go over what I had reviewed and the comments that I had, and then I would ask the board members if they had any additional comments or clarifications that they wanted from the applicant, than to end up in a case of maybe asking the same things over and over.
Go ahead.
So in terms of the letter you were sent, clarify use, mixed use, or 100% residential. The drawings that you provided provide some information, but there's some areas in the building that's not clear what's what. So that was one thing. Drawings, materials, photos, and other details for exterior building changes before and after. You did send some drawings, and we'll go over the drawings. Which spaces and how big are the spaces for commercial use, and that is indicated on there. So again, there's some blank spots that it's not, I think they're commercial, but the commercial is like in one room and then in another room, but there might be areas that appear to be part of that commercial use, but they're not really labeled. Which entrances will be used for commercial versus residential use? I did not note on the plans the entrances identified. The property survey was provided. Please provide all details relevant to the renovation in the village code site plan review checklist. We did not provide you with that. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's something we can talk about too. In terms of, and I will mention this because I appreciate the fact that Aaron is here. The application and other parts of the special use permit, etc., leave a lot of blanks. I just came from the New York State Planning Federation meeting, and one of the things that they emphasized was the fact that these become legal documents if there should ever be a case, and they need to be filled in completely and clearly. And so just for an example, here's the application for the building and use permit, and it says down here, print applicant's name, address, email address, date, and phone number, that's not filled in. Up here where it says project use or description, it seems to vary from sheet to sheet. And commercial residential mix renovation, I think renovation is a little ambiguous as to what it actually is. I mean, the big thing that one of the two things that we're really looking at is the change in the building by adding a new door entrance. I'm not sure I would call that renovation, maybe you would, but it's a change that should be added to identify so that in future times, if somebody looked at this, they know that what was included, this was the construction of a new door entrance, or previously there was a window existing. When I looked at the application for the site plan, it had some similar aspects to it. It did not include the tax map number. It simply said renovation, where, as I was saying, the building permit aspect, one talked about more than just renovation and needed to have some additional. It didn't indicate under what provisions the request was being made, but more important, it does not have a signature or mailing address on the bottom. It makes the document less than a strong document if there was ever a case that we needed to follow up with anything. The same thing holds true with the special use permit. I'm not going to continue over things, but there's things that were not identified. Okay. The reason for us being here tonight is twofold. We're reviewing the exterior work on the structure within the historic overzone and the need for a special use permit for multi-dwelling units. Okay. We've had this discussion before, and I'd ask the other applicant who's here to listen up. The property owner listed on the application is Chatham NYLCC. Okay. We have historically and will continue to request any paperwork regarding the formation of an LLC and the relationship of the person who's coming before the board, in this case Mr. Gaylord, to that LLC, and anything giving him authorization to represent the LLC before the board. If you are you the sole owner of this LLC? Okay. Then it would be helpful if...
You can just cross it out.
No, you end up
Put
in
my name on there.
you end up in a case that...
Well, I mean, it needs to match like the ownership of the building. So is the building owned by the LLC or owned by you as the individual?
Yes.
What's on the deed?
But
Is
the
the
site,
LLC on the deed or is your name on the deed?
It'd be very simple. Submit to us a piece of paper showing the LLC and on it write that you were the sole owner and therefore you're representing yourself.
Okay.
but the sole owner of the LLC
Of the-
or of the building? Do you
No.
own the building too?
Yeah, the LLC owns it.
The LLC owns the building. Okay.
Okay. The next thing I had put down was dealing with the exterior work, which is what we're looking at in relation to the historic review. And my first question was, and the building inspector's here, do you have approval from the building inspector for the work you've already started, the repointing of the stone and the closing of parts of the sidewalk and parking spaces?
Do I need that?
It doesn't need that.
It's a repair.
Yeah,
It's considered a repair.
It's just
Yeah.
maintenance.
and any closing, any using of the spaces, it usually gets run through the police department. I have nothing to do with that.
Okay, did you talk to the police department about it?
I didn't know.
Yeah. But it's public parking anyway, so, and there's no restriction on overnight parking, that it's not winter time, I don't believe.
But there isn't a concern that I had when I came up over the week, that the sidewalk was blocked off. Now, that presents people to
Well,
walk.
there should be an exit, there should still be 3-foot access.
Okay, so just make sure that there's a minimum of 3 feet
For pedestrian.
of sidewalk for pedestrian access. If you need to close it off, put up a sign that indicates it's closed, please use the other side of the street. So we don't end up, if you're working, I know you have that lift type of thing, if you're working, I know you don't want people walking underneath the roof. So just something along that line, okay? Then what I would ask you is to discuss with us each photo that you provided, and we appreciate greatly that you provided the photos. And one of the things that I would ask with these documents, as well as any other documents, that the application number be put on the document so that the documents get lost or shuffled someplace else, the building inspector is able to put them back in the file where they belong.
He wouldn't get the application number that's generated from my computer system.
But the application number's on the permit.
Yeah,
Okay.
after he submits it to me, he doesn't get it.
No, I agree, well, okay, but then when he submitted them to us now, or to put the application numbers on the originals that are being submitted as part of the application. Okay, so, did you bring any photos with you? Anything with you? Okay. I don't know how you numbered these photos, or if the photos were numbered. This was the first photo, okay, which shows the existing area as it is.
Correct.
Okay.
What are we looking at?
This photo here, that's the space in which the new door
Where is
is,
this window located? This is on Park Road?
on Park Road.
Okay,
Where the
gotcha.
door is proposed.
In order for us to better understand the space you're working on, if you would label dimensionally the spaces like are on here now that I did for my own benefit, that this space is 42 inches, this space is 93 inches, this space is 50-some inches, that from here to the face of the concrete, of the curbing, is this dimension. So we know the area that the work's being in dimensionally in terms of being able to apply that to what you're doing.
Okay.
This was the next drawing that I had. This drawing here,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay.
And I honestly couldn't understand what I was looking at. I don't know how the other board members.
This is the proposed door. This is the proposed doorway. There's glass. It's to show that it's in keeping with the historic door that's already in the building.
Okay,
So there's no dimensions, and are these steps?
Correct.
Okay.
and how many steps are there?
Oh, those are steps, two steps.
I believe 2, and then the landing is,
And how far,
The landing is inside or outside?
it's inside.
how far do the steps extend onto the sidewalk?
They do not, they go inside the building.
Now, the drawing you submitted to us
That's not.
shows the steps outside the building.
Yeah, it has them on the sidewalk.
Which,
Okay, here.
for the, guys that do
Okay, well, it just,
I
it
understand.
shows 2 steps here, okay.
I understand.
So the drawing will have to be revised to show correctly there's no steps going on here.
I understand.
Okay.
And I think we would need dimensions on this, so that we can and we would need, like, the specs of the door that you're putting in, because you're creating a door. This is the door on the front of the building, you're building a new door from scratch, like you're not moving a door, right?
Correct.
So would we not need the specs on that
Yeah,
door?
yeah.
I mean, I understand you're gonna match it, but I think we would need the specs on that.
Okay, let me continue. I said it's not clear. Now, one of the things that wasn't clear to me, okay, is this is the new door. What happens between the bottom of the door and the ground? Or what happens above the door? Because the space between here, the reason why the dimensions, as Jennifer's mentioning, are so important, the space between the sidewalk and the top of the opening, which would be removed in order to put the door in, is something like 14 feet.
Well, there's a transom.
Not that tall.
Well, I mean, we just need more specific
These are the
information
measurements.
because we don't
Okay.
have dimensions on any of it, so.
These are the dimensions.
All right, well,
Okay.
let's say it is.
Okay, so you end up in a case, we need a detailed drawing that clearly shows the dimensions as Jennifer's saying, and how you're gonna have the bottom of the door flush with the sidewalk and what's above it. So, I mean, or how you're gonna fill in that space. If you're gonna, I mean,
The bottom of the door is not gonna hit the sidewalk. It's,
It's above.
there's,
well,
The door is inset in the building.
Or is
and
inside.
then there are 2 steps
So I think
and a
because,
landing. and
because
then-
this is exterior, which is under the historic review.
Okay,
We
so-
need more specific information, so you're walking into like an alcove where the door is, you're gonna take up a couple steps.
2 steps,
You're in an alcove
and you're
now,
on
it's a landing.
grade, floor level.
Okay, but so you know, you're taking a flat surface now and you're creating a surface that goes into the building, which is still on the exterior. So we need more specific information about what that construction looks like, because right now it's just a flat brick wall and stone wall, so.
So in other words, you just want me to show the stairway inside.
well, if the.
Yes, and then what are the materials, how is that, you know, brickwork gonna transition to that space? What is that material you're using? Is it gonna be brick like the brick that's already there?
In terms of looking at the opening, as I measured it, the door is what, a 3-foot door? Is that what you're claiming?
It would end up a 3-foot door, yes.
Okay, so the space that's, the opening is 42 inches, so you're gonna have some framing around the door. Is that correct? Okay, so the drawing should show the framing around the door. The door in front of the building, the existing door, which is recessed like the window is a bit, has trim that comes out from the door, and
It's a door jam.
well, it's actually more than a jamb. There's actually a panel that comes out from this,
Here's the panel right here.
yeah, this right here is a panel. It's not just a door jamb, it's a panel. The panel extends, okay, extends, so a detail that shows that.
Okay,
Okay, and
I understand.
and then, in that the appearance is based on what measurements were taken, there'll be a space above the door that the door will not fill in.
It's a sort of permanent transom.
I mean, you see, like you have a transom existing here now,
I understand.
and you have transoms on these, there's actually 2 transoms over the front door. So how you plan on addressing that space?
Transom or no transom?
Well, in the detail of the size of the transoms, what they're gonna look like, whatever, okay? Then the next question I had, how are you gonna remove the block, the existing block that's there? This, in order to make this opening here down to the ground?
Does that concern you in your decision?
Sure.
Well, it's on the exterior.
It's on the
so,
exterior.
yeah, it does concern
I'm
us,
asking out of curiosity.
because it is in the historic overzone.
If you look at the stones, they cut and key back in. You just use the same material and it just ends up a flat space.
Okay.
If you look at the way the stones are,
Okay, when I
it's
looked
the
at the,
same material.
when I looked at the front,
It's reused.
it was cut, the block on either side of this opening, the block was cut. It's not, it doesn't look like the front of the block. The side of the block looks like it was cut by a saw. Okay. However, it did receive a treatment that,
They were thermally.
well, little spots or little nicks. I mean, if this was the block,
What do you want it to look like?
We just wanna know what you're proposing.
what
So
do we want it to
can-
look like?
Yeah, we wanna know what you're proposing. It's not up to us to tell you what we want
It looks
to
like the
see.
rest of the building. I I know we've been through this before, but it's gonna look like the rest of the building.
But the point being, as I mentioned earlier on, they become legal documents, they need documents that we can read.
That's why I'm
Okay.
asking.
So
what's
I
the-
think we would like either an illustration, whether it's a photo, whether it is some sort of inspiration photo, whether it's a drawing of how that stonework is going to change, because you're cutting it out and then you're putting stairs there. So like, what are the stairs made out of?
So what's the new part look like? Because the stone's gonna look just like it does now.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about the part you're cutting out to put in this new entrance. That area is changing, so how is that changing? You're gonna reuse the stone that's there, but what are the steps gonna be made out of? Are those stone steps? Like, that information is currently missing, and so we're making a lot of assumptions right now because you've not provided the information, so.
And if you take a picture of the front existing entrance that shows the panel coming on either side of the door, and the stone, which shows how the stone was hammered or chiseled or something to give it a different texture than just simply a saw cut. That's, I mean, I believe, we want this opening to mirror,
To match the
mirror
front.
the opening that's in the front.
That's what it's gonna do.
Well, that's what you're
We
saying.
wanna just,
And
you'd
the
like to
last
see
time I
the
told you
plan.
that, it matched perfectly.
But we don't, as I started off with the meeting, you end up in a case,
I know,
these are
I hear
legal
you.
documents.
I hear you.
What we have does not clarify what is going on.
When you get up the stairs and you're standing in the alcove, are those wood panels on the side? Are you wrapping the brick around into the alcove? Like that's kind of this information we're looking for. I'm sure it's gonna look beautiful, but we just
You
need,
do good work.
we need this specific information.
Right. Do you plan on using a new wooden door?
Yes, he's not moving a door.
Right. So the question I had down here was, are you planning, is the new door that's coming in gonna be wooden like the front doors?
Yes.
Okay. And it's the same shape and size, which I believe you said.
But we need the specs on it.
Okay. Is the hardware, the hinges and the door handle things gonna be the same?
It'll be as close as I can get it.
Okay, please provide text that very specifically indicates that,
Or a photo of the hardware you are planning on using.
planning on using, or manufacturer's brochure. The door is gonna open in or out?
It would have to open in.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, when I looked at this, I'm not sure, is this the door?
Yeah. This is-
Okay, so then just label that the door, so we know that that's the door when you modify that entrance area there, so that it shows those steps are not there.
And this new door is gonna serve one apartment, one residential unit.
It's commercial unit.
This is labeled commercial.
It will either be, yes, it will either be a separate commercial unit or it's commercial unit.
Okay. Because you have listed here 5 apartments, but I'm only counting, if that's commercial, I'm only counting 4.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll have,
Because so this one, that's small, commercial.
That's the
Well,
one with the new
ideally it would
door.
look like this.
That's the one, this is the one with the,
Correct.
okay. And then this one has that back door, and this one has,
That's an existing door.
oh, it's already back there, okay.
And
gotcha.
and one, one about this minute.
So the front door
On
will
the
be
second
exclusive for
floor.
commercial
Correct.
use. And then the upstairs units, how do they get in?
Yeah, on the second floor, Aaron, you've got, is this an entrance and this as an entrance?
would it be easier if I just finished my
Oh,
question
I'm sorry.
for this part, and then we go to the floor
Yeah,
plans?
Yeah, fine. Although, yeah.
Okay, so the other question that I had was, are you gonna put some sort of finish on the door?
It will be painted like the rest of the building.
Okay, is the rest of the building being painted?
If the rest of the building is painted, you will be the first to know. I will apply for that. If it's going to be different, I will apply for that.
Okay.
It
Would
may
you,
be the same.
would you please bring in
If-
paint
if-
color chips for the door? Because if you're putting a new door in, you're gonna paint the door, I'm assuming.
There was a paint chip.
There was, in this original.
Okay, I apologize. apologize to you.
You're
I-
okay.
I've never seen that.
Well, the paint chip, we need to have the manufacturer's paint chip with the name and the color number ID on it. This is the chip of paint on the building. It may have been there 20 years or 50 years. What it looks like now and what is not necessarily going to be the same. And that's what we've requested of all previous applicants. is that
You're probably gonna get a formula then, 'cause it's not gonna match.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well,
You're taking that in to get a, yeah, because usually, you know, matching, you have a
Yeah, I mean,
match. Yeah, so we would need then the formula.
And who the manufacturer is.
And will, so will you paint the other door to match the new door? Because they're going to be
You
different.
mean the new door to match the old door?
Are all the doors
You're
being
going to paint
painted?
the new door to match this door.
Only the same, yes.
But as far as this application goes, the only door you're painting is the door that's the new entrance.
Yeah.
We're not painting anything else, we're not changing any windows, we're not removing anything. Okay. The other question I had was, in that this is an entrance to the building, I believe, and I'll go back to the building inspector, there's an exterior light required for entrances to buildings. Okay, so if you're gonna be putting a light out here, you need to show us where the light's gonna be located and the fixture that's going to be used. And that would be with the manufacturer's name, picture, and color. Does anyone else have any questions regarding the exterior work?
Now, will you be putting a light by this new door?
That's what,
That's what I just said.
I'm
You
I'm
just
sorry,
asked.
I thought,
You know,
Okay.
a new entrance requires a new light.
yeah, sorry, I was wondering.
Okay. Again, I do that.
and so just to be clear, you're not replacing any other windows or doors in this building?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Anybody have any other questions regarding the exterior work?
I just want to just clarify who's using what entrance. So you've got the residential entrances in the back, you have commercial entrance in the front, and the apartments upstairs, they use the back
So,
entrance? Is there-
so let's, just for the sake of getting these guys out of here, and I might explode if we talk about the interior.
I don't care how it's configured,
Let's just-
I just want to know the
Let's just-
traffic flow.
Can I just talk about like the main focus, which is that door? So we've gotten through that door on the exterior and then,
Well, the other focus is the special use permit. And the special use permit has a lot of aspects to it.
let's table that for now. Let's
Okay.
focus on that door.
Okay.
Get through the door.
Yeah.
Can I do that? Okay?
That's why I asked if anybody had any further questions regarding the.
Anybody have further questions?
So I'll make a motion to table this application.
Now, let's do the floor plans and get clarification, because it is a
We
special.
don't do.
He doesn't want to discuss that right now, and we don't, it doesn't matter how the
You're
interior
worried
is
about the
configured.
exterior.
No, we're worried about the interior. This is a special use permit. It's a,
He wanted to table that till next month.
Yeah.
oh, you want to table it?
Yes, he's asking us to
Okay.
table it.
That's, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you.
Let's table that. I got the information on the
We're
door.
tabling the entire application, motion to table the entire application until next month.
Let's
and
make the door happy.
He is going to provide the additional information that we have requested.
So I have a motion. Do you have a second?
A second.
All-
What did you make, was that a motion or was that?
That was a motion.
Okay, I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming in, Aaron.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Your opportunity, gentlemen.
All right.
So like,
This is the sketch plan conference, right?
Yes, it's sketch plan conference, so it's, but like you heard in terms of the previous discussion, you do need to provide something regarding the LLC and if you're the sole owner.
It's provided an authorization, letter of authorization.
He did, I saw the letter of authorization, but he authorizes you, but I'm not sure his relationship to the LLC.
No, and just to clarify, it says in the application, as the owner, certifying the owner of the above product. And I'm just asking, and so I just make sure that if that doesn't answer it, we will get the
Well,
information.
I guess what becomes the sticking point on the aspect is that the application says the owner is 1 Kinhook Street LLC. Okay. I recognize from previous conversations we just had that he's also the owner. But if the LLC states he's the owner, then it makes sense on the application. That's all.
Sure.
Did each person get some additional information the applicant provided? Oh, those are nice size couple chairs.
I can tell you,
We'll get you a copy of this, but this is his LLC formation.
Okay, just something that
Can
indicates.
you send that to,
You could,
Yeah, we'll,
so we can
we will get
add
that to you
okay.
after the meeting.
Great.
We'll
Yeah.
send that over.
Sure.
and then this, I don't know if you want to work with this one, this was one that makes it black, just one copy with the measurements.
Well, I think what we'll do is we'll go sheet by sheet, and if this sheet has something different,
Okay.
because I'll be honest with you, I started making notes and realized that some of the information was on a different sheet, that I was asking the question on one sheet, and then I discovered there was things that I didn't realize was happening the first time.
So I
But I
guess,
will tell you, it's a beautiful set of drawings. I really was impressed with quality and information that was provided.
Before you dive into your questions, Francis, can we just let them walk us through?
Sure, makes all the sense in the world, Jennifer.
What is, just tell us about your project.
Yeah.
so it's obviously to restore the restaurant, bring it back. Doing the basement first and second floor will be the restaurant and associated kitchens and everything. And third floor will be the apartment to house chef, if I understand correctly. So it'll be associated with the restaurant just as part of the piece there. Big challenge of this project was bringing it up to ADA. I was finding ways to get into here. So the big part of this project, with respect to the exterior, is the ADA grant that we are adding, proposing to add on the north side of the building to come in from Kinhook Street and come into the building. We've done a lot of work with elevations to make that come through, which is on the plans here. We know, and it's in discussion right now, our ramp and entry in here does go on to New York State property. They're in discussions with New York State to get that letter of confirmation.
I was gonna ask you,
Yep.
I worked for the Department of Transportation. I was involved in the project that did the curbing and changing some things in here on some of the other streets. And I know that when I worked with DOT, the real estate unit is who you would deal with. You can talk to them either in purchase or easement. Now, I know that in the past, in experiences that I had with DOT, that they often would sell remnants of property that no longer had a highway need, which I'm speaking simply as myself and as that this, other than maybe 1 foot behind the sidewalk that goes around this way, they generally do not have an issue. But you're
Yeah.
working on that. That's
Yeah,
what
no,
you're
we're working on so there's two pieces of this puzzle, okay? So the main area here, which you're mentioning out here, is, we've already been talked to the village here to get permission to use that, and by exception from DOT, because DOT has basically, for lack of a better way of saying, abandoned the property.
I would tell you that my experience has been, the village does not own that. It is listed as DOT property. It was known, in fact, they did work on the circle and everything. You need to have something from DOT, not from the villages, not village property. You need to have something from DOT indicating somehow they will allow you to use this property that is not within your property lines.
Okay, well, we'll add that to, we'll add that to the conversation, because that was already been.
Yes,
We've
we
been
said
working
we'll-
on, we were working on the structure here.
Let them
The-
work.
Yeah, okay.
That was already
Finish telling
previously
us
done, so
about
we will look.
But he mentioned the Village of Chatham.
Yeah, that's just,
Yeah, okay, that's
Let them
a,
keep
that's a
going.
crucial factor in terms of this, all this use in here and here that is outside of the property line that is associated with the property.
Yeah, and we are, we are working with DOT. We'll add to that the additional piece. This is, anyway, this is a little bit more, and David can speak more to it than I can. You know, that piece has been in discussion for quite a while, to have permission to use it, which we believe everything is in place. The permanent structure, adding this on here, we're in discussions, direct discussions with DOT in order to get them to sign off on that. I believe in the last day or so, they've been discussing, just working out questions and finalization, so we should have all those pieces in line. They're favorable to it. We've added, you know, the right-of-way stuff and things that they asked us to add to it, so everything is, to the best of our understanding, is in compliance with what the DOT wants.
Sounds very good.
Okay. So going back, this ramp is our biggest challenge on the property in order to bring it up to ADA. We're bringing the building into compliance to meet the main floor ADA requirements, which is what we're required to do. So we bring in a ramp in. We reworked this floor plan a couple of times in order to get this to work. Because of elevation differences and ramp slopes and stuff like that, it's been very challenging. So that's, in the exterior, that's our only plan change to our footprint. Okay. The rest of the work is extending, doing a vertical addition on this section, this back corner section.
which is currently just one
It's just
level.
currently one story, basement first, it's 2 stories, it's 1 story upgrade technically. We're extending it up to the 3rd floor in order to house the additional kitchen that's required, office, things like that, storage, and mechanicals.
So you want it, so it'll basically be the same height as the main building?
Yes,
Okay. Understood.
which we can show you that in the elevation in there.
Yeah.
Then the rest of it is upward, just a, you know, so the building is getting step back one step. The building is getting a complete rehabilitation. So the electrical, mechanical, plumbing, fire protection, basically got everything going through, bringing up to this use, bringing up to conformance with the building code, and have all those systems in here. The rest of it is primarily cosmetic, refinishing, painting, freshening, putting guardrails on it that are safe on the 2nd floor, and that for the porches in order to make those safe for use, because they're currently too low. Painting, you know, like I say, we spent a lot of time to make sure that what we're doing is harmonious with the rest of the building, with the neighborhood, the character of the neighborhood. So the ramp has been one of the cases we've tackled several times. If we look at the elevation of the front of the building, sorry.
That's right.
It's upside down, so it takes me a second to get my brain in there. So this is the existing building elevation. You can tell the elevations, we've done a lot of work to conceal the ramp in here. So we've kept the horizontal lines in the front with the paneling, so that you don't even notice that the ramp is snuck back in there. So otherwise we get the lines of the building start going off, because you see the ramp. So we have concealed that in behind the wood fascia, which will match the rest of the building. In order to make it.
So the paneling that we see that's currently on the front, basically,
Will be on the front of the
railing,
Yeah.
okay, I mean,
Yeah.
of the.
And the top of that railing will be level across there, so you won't be looking from up on Ostrich Street, looking down and see the ramp sloping down to Kinderhook Street. This will obscure it so that it keeps the lines of the building nice and true.
Okay, so just to clarify something. This, and this are panels.
Yes.
Okay. The ramp is down here.
Correct.
What is between the panel and the ramp?
This is the same wood finishing, we're copying the building over. This will be concrete down here, and then this will be wood from here up to match the rest
So
of the
this
building.
is like a
So
facial.
we're holding the water line of the building.
Okay.
Okay, if you could add a little more clarity in terms of your notes, because I looked at this thing and did not recognize, even though it says here PTD, which I'm not sure what
Painted.
painted window panels trimmed to match existing, and it went here, and I'm thinking these panels are not on the ramp, okay? Now, maybe the drawing of the ramp shows the panels, and I didn't pick that up or not, because I thought it was these panels that are here.
Yeah, no, we've actually gone to, you know, this was, I've been pushing on this one hard to get that. We want this building, at the end of the day, when you look at it, you won't really notice the difference. The main difference is that, obviously, the stairs go on here, that's in the front. We've concealed everything in order to maintain the lines of the building, because we like the linearity of the building, and we didn't want to disrupt that. So we're bringing up these sides on this ramp are way higher than they need to be in order to obscure it so that it disappears.
Blends in,
And you won't see it when you look, you know, from down also that street.
But the door is moving?
Yeah,
Yes.
so on the building side,
Mhm.
what is replacing this?
Same, they're remaining,
They're remaining,
yes.
okay, so, does it say
I'm
something?
sorry, what?
Okay, so the
The
existing,
wood.
these
the
wind panels that are beneath
detail
the
is
windows.
remaining.
on the
Okay.
building are
Where-
remaining.
As you're walking up the ramp, you will
Okay.
see.
These are new,
Right.
these are new panels on the
Inside.
ramp itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. And that, you know, the whole purpose of this meeting is to help us understand, okay?
So you're losing the stairs. Are there stairs anywhere, or no? It's just-
Yes, there's a stair, you can see the
There's a
dash
set of
lines.
stairs.
Okay.
In the bottom
Yeah.
right corner.
Right.
And so that just follows the ramp line? Is that-
The stair is, if you go to the plan.
This way.
So our ramp is here. We've
Okay,
got
I see.
level top on the ramp and the stair. So when you're looking from here, you won't even know that the stair is concealed in there.
Gotcha.
It's purposely done to obscure it, so it doesn't stand out as a feature. We want to keep the focus on the building and not disrupt it with stairs and ramps.
Gotcha.
Does the panels go around the side?
Yes.
Okay. Clarify that a little bit. Okay, well, we're going to next. Question, I've written down a number of things that may be out of order in terms of what we're looking at,
That's
whatever.
fine.
Okay, what happens to the first story roof kitchen vent and pipe vent it goes to the existing roof and the air conditioner unit that's on that first story?
We're removing all that. So this whole system, the building is literally going to be a shell for as part of this project.
Even like the Shaker Museum building?
Well, not that far. We're not going that far. We are keeping the framing. We're just, the mushroom vent that you see inside, that's going. Okay? All the stuff is going through the roof. All of our ventilation and exhaust is going through the roof. So it'll all disappear. Up on the top, and it's one of the things on here, so our equipment here, this dashed line represents the top of the current mechanical unit up on that roof. We're putting screening around it,
The current or proposed?
proposed.
Because the current is only one level.
Right.
Right. That's something that I wanted the board members to look at carefully. I've been down and looked at this thing in all different directions. And my concern is that this louver stuff on top will be more of an eye draw than it would be if you put this railing back up there and you could relocate the air conditioning unit and whatever slightly.
Unfortunately, we don't have much room to locate that unit.
Okay.
We're literally squeezing all of our tolerances in order to get everything onto that roof space that we have.
Well, even with that,
How
I mean, wait, you're saying you like this railing that's up there?
No, what I was
current
saying
railing?
is this louver vent thing that they're putting on top of the third floor will be very much an eye catcher in terms of there's nothing like it anyplace else on any of the buildings. It's something that I will see more when I drive down.
I don't know.
But
if we will.
it's on the Route 66 side, which means it's not going to be seen.
Yeah, and as you drive up this
Here.
road, you're already driving at like the basement level of that building, so it's gonna be
Well, you
pretty
kind of
high
make
up
my
there.
point, because if you don't think it'll be seen that much, I think it would be more appearance-wise to take this railing, which is the same as these railings here, and
We have no problem removing it if that's the board's thing. We actually had this discussion, we had it, because this is, when we have mechanical equipment out there,
that's pretty typical of
typically
what
we're
it's
asked to
Screen it.
obscure it.
Yeah.
And this, our concern was, and is visibility and also coming down Osterlitz Street, just, we've got the museum going in here, we're doing all this work. We just want to make sure that we're in harmony.
Sure.
Is
Oh,
there-
you'll see it from
Let
Osterlitz
me
Street.
ask a question. Is this as high as all the equipment or higher?
The equipment is roughly the same height as
Right,
that.
and how far back from the edge of the roof?
right on the edge.
It's right on the edge.
It's right
So,
on the
but
edge.
the current railing is much shorter, so then you would see the equipment above that railing.
Well, yeah, I mean, what you would end up doing, at least this is what I'm saying, is take this railing, which is this railing, here it is, put the higher railing piece on top like you're doing here, so that you have this looking like that. Yes, I think you're right, you're coming down Osterlitz Street or coming up Center Street. Coming up Center Street, you can't really see.
You're not
Up
gonna
that
see it,
high to see what's
but
going
you might
on.
see it on Osterlitz Street.
Right, coming down Osterlitz Street, from the distance you're at, and the turn, I think this would be much more in keeping with the historical appearance of the building than to put up a metal louver type thing, of which looks to me very modern. I understand the reason for doing it, but nothing that fits historically with the building.
But this addition also is not, it's a new addition, so just
Only
like,
if
just
It's not original to the building.
like,
Right,
right, just
only the
like
second-
the Shaker Museum has a modern addition
Right.
wing on it, so the screening.
Well, look at it.
We need the screening there, like maybe the screening is redesigned. I am open to that, but I would wanna see more than just a line drawing of what this screening looks
The
like.
thing is, if you do this, and then you've got equipment behind it,
That's peeking up above
it's
it.
gonna be a
Yeah, it's gonna
mishmash.
look-
So let me ask you
A
this question.
visual mishmash.
Have any of you ever noticed the kitchen vent or the air conditioning unit that's on top of the first story? Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever seen on this building right here, there's currently a kitchen vent and an air conditioning unit vent on top of this?
Yeah.
And this is down at a much lower level
Yeah.
where it'd be easy. Just look and see what,
I think we all in agreement, we need some sort of screening up there to cover the equipment, because we don't wanna look at the equipment that's up there, but I think the design of the screening could be modified, I think I'm open to that, but I just would like to see some,
I guess to come to a middle ground.
if you have a photo of what the screening looks like, or a rendering of it that's not just a line drawing, that would be helpful because of what you're proposing, because it's hard for me to visualize this. It would be great if there was some sort of rendering, or a photo that you've seen the screening somewhere else, so I could picture it.
Yeah, so, I point out to, so I'm gonna say from my perspective, and, I noticed that, because this is my business, I noticed those things, so when you say like, did I notice the mushroom, did I notice the stuff up there? I did.
yeah, and
I noticed it on a lot of other buildings that should have been dealt with, but
Right.
weren't. So it makes it does make it one of these, subjective areas of this. We have no problem, we put this in here to meet what we normally, have to deal with in these types of reviews. So if we want to modify this, is fine. There's limitations to what we can do, there's not a lot of options that are gonna fit into this, area as cohesively.
Right.
And let, what I will offer as kind of a middle ground to to see if this will help with the consideration, is if we bring this railing detail, and we just put a false railing right on the face of it, you know, it
In
would,
front of the screening?
yeah, right on, you know, we'll have to work out, you know, we don't have a lot of room up there,
There's not
so.
a lot of room, right.
But it's not, it's purely architectural, it's no
Uh-huh.
longer structural. So we can put it into a place in order to carry that feel through, but then have the screening, you know,
Behind it.
in order to balance
I
the
mean,
two
that would-
It's
interests.
sort of, yes, maybe, because then you're bringing this element in the middle somewhere here, it's another break. in the-
Well, we can show it that way, and we can look to give you a render of that out there to look at, with and without it. That's a, you know, that's a fairly minor thing for us to do. And that you see what it looks like, you know, can't guarantee it'll be color matched, but it'll be able to give you the message.
And I would ask the board members to look at what's existing there and look at the fact that you're gonna be three stories up in the air. And, you know, I don't have from someone who's done stuff like this before, I don't have an issue with something breaking up the view. I have an issue with something trying to entirely screen the view. Because then what you try to screen becomes what your eye gets attracted to. And so you end up in a case that always amazes me when I see all these solar fields going in. And what do? They line the outside of the solar fields with evergreens. That's the first thing that catches your eye when I drive down the road, is these rows of evergreens, where there's no other evergreens anyplace around, you know there's a solar field there. To me, this type of paneling up here, and you can provide additional options and things you can do, will be such a visual thing. But I ask the board members to make note of that when you're seeing these drawings and looking at it from different views, as to maybe whether this was up a little bit higher with the same pattern, or this was up and there was a panel attached on the inside, that's so you couldn't see through it. You know, but you could.
But you'll see, the thing is that
You'll see,
it's not high enough to
You'll see-
screen all the equipment.
Right.
So you still have to have the height there to screen the equipment, otherwise you're looking at air handlers and vents and.
but my point is, it has never been an issue, to my knowledge, in terms of the fact that the pipe was put on there, the air conditioner was on there, the vent was on that roof. I don't ever remember in any of the years that I've been on the board that it came before the board or any of
Well,
the...
has this building ever come before this board?
Yes.
While you have sat on it?
Yeah, when it was the blue plate.
But were they weren't doing any work to that portion of the building, so that portion of the building was not in front of you for review?
Well, let's put it this way. The reason why I asked the previous applicant as many questions as I did is because all too happens with these applications is that additional things get done on the drawing, not on the drawings, but in the construction, and they get overlooked and not picked up. And so, I don't know, I mean, I'll give you another example. The place on Main Street, the cantina, and I can't remember the name of the places now, the coffee shop and cantina right on Main Street, has it?
Yes,
No.
Vinnie's?
Bimmies.
Vinnie's.
Have you ever noticed that Bimmies put in a large silver tube that runs all the way to the back of that building and has a vent on top of the roof?
I was not on this board.
It never came before the board.
So I think what we need to, I think he's willing to give us options for the screening.
So we'll
I'd
look at
love to
options.
see what the options are. I think we should move on to your next question.
Okay, my next question is the clapboard that you're showing on here. What's the exposure on that clapboard? Is it going to be 4 inches or 6 inches? Because 4 inches is more historical than 6 inches is clapboard.
We're gonna match their adjacent house, that's what they're planning, so it's gonna be
That's what?
the adjacent house.
Okay,
It's 4 inches,
Three,
okay.
three camera.
In terms of what Jennifer was saying, any of these situations on here where you talk about new materials, new Western red cedar stockade fence, new hardy board, new windows, whatever, eventually we'll need to provide manufacturer's details, brochures, whatever, so we can see what's going on. there's a new door going in here.
Windows,
Doors, whatever. Let me just jump back to these pages and see what I had else on here. The red one, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of what's happened here. Like I said, provide information regarding new windows, doors, and fence.
is the front door, are you changing, is that a new door that's going in there, or is it you just moving?
It's a new swing door.
Okay, so we would need the specs on that.
This original existing shows this as a green space, is that,
I think it just got admitted, to be honest with
I
you.
think it's what?
I think it just got admitted by accident.
Okay,
I think
and
it's-
that's fine.
I just put that actually in my note here.
If you're adding any additional lighting, like around the new door location, you're gonna have lighting. Okay, I'm assuming that what I saw, those are the property lines. If you have a survey, an actual survey, it would be helpful to have a survey so we can compare the survey to that and then compare with what you may be.
This is built off a survey, so.
Okay, so you have a survey, and then that way we can help compare what DOT is proposing in terms of an easement or whatever else.
Is the, I'm sorry to jump around, but the addition that you're putting on the back, is that gonna be the same height as the residential building next door? You said it's gonna match.
It's gonna be very close, it's
Okay.
actually just a hair shorter.
Okay.
One of the big questions I had was, let's see what I have. There's a major change in the window appearance and the door aspect. Both on, and then even further on the side here. Why, I mean, when I looked at this thing, I thought to myself, well, I can understand, based on what I saw with the floor plan, what's behind these panels, I can understand why you wouldn't want a window looking in there. But I can't understand why you're changing the windows and you're taking off all this fretwork that's on the front. So you're you're taking away the architectural detail that's on the building. You're making the bottom story look very modern looking in relation to the top 2 stories of the building. That is really subtracts from the historical visual appearance and quality of the building. You know, if you can reconsider the aspect of this window configurations so that it's more reflective of what exists, and the fretting that's up above.
All the fretwork is.
All the fretwork. Are you planning on retaining awnings on the building?
That's a good question.
I think the plan is awning over the door only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you something from experience, that on this south side of the building, the sun shines in there so badly that you end up in a case that was the reason why the person put the awnings on there, because people did not want
Well,
it.
you've owned that building for over a year now, right? Yeah, so I'm sure he's been in the
Yeah.
Well, I
space
just,
to
but,
experience.
okay, but,
Yeah, no, it's
Sonic
good, it's good
exposure.
feedback. I do have a question about the windows though, because the configuration on the windows are storefronts. I mean, the whole bottom floor is fully windowed.
right. But there are windows that,
Well, so one of the major considerations was also the cost, because we considered doing these storefronts and doing these paneled windows is substantially more in scope with the budget of the project.
I understand that. But when I look at this bottom floor here, and I look at this here, I understand the panel there because of the use that's on the opposite side. You don't have a window in the bathroom, you can't have a window in the cooler, okay? But this here, and this here, with these flat boards and no fretwork, and windows that are not large windows like are over there, just change the whole appearance of what's there. You know, the doorway with the transom above it, I think that's something that and where it's located is something that I can understand. But again, the fretwork, you know, the fretwork's even over the door here,
But all that fretwork's covered with awnings.
but the awnings are coming off. That's why I asked the question about
No,
the
absolutely.
the
So
awnings.
the architectural design of these arcs, I mean, there was a back and forth between doing like something similar to that fretwork and doing these arcs, and we're, I mean, honestly open to either. I'm not sure the decision on the first floor, but I think it's more to keep the windows more open, more visible. But yeah, you don't see any of that with the awnings.
Right, but the awnings are coming off, and you end up in a case the awnings at times have been pulled up, and you can see, and historically, it's an element that's on the building that, I mean, I have some pictures of the building when a historical cultural survey was done for this whole entire area as part of the DOT project. And they talked about the aspect of the appearance of the first floor and that fretwork and whatever else.
And why are you changing the fretwork to begin with?
Just the architectural design decision was that they liked the look of this and going into the arc.
Okay, and you know what, that's what I put
But
down.
also, none of that's original to the building.
It-
I understand that it's like historically part of it for a long time, but it's not original.
Right, and you
And it
know,
also has no
No,
architectural
we
reference.
don't necessarily
Fine.
go back to the original.
I understand.
I mean, it used to be a meat market.
I mean, I think, yeah, you have to like pick a moment in history and say,
Absolutely.
this, we're going back to this moment.
And we did a lot of, like, the architect did a lot of digging and had trouble finding a reference point for what those, like, where those are from and what the inspiration of that fretwork is. But again, we're open to
There was
that.
some craftsman who did it, he
Yeah.
was hired, he said, oh, this is what I'll do.
Yeah.
Or it was, whenever it was done, that was like the style.
But
Yeah.
we're open to that being
Okay, so
what
it's-
that is.
It's a discussion meeting, you know that's something that,
Yeah, similar to like what this obscuring, I mean, it's not a major, it's not a major feature decision. I think the architect is open to keeping that more similar to what's there, but again, without like an architectural reference, they're proposing this.
okay. I know that I realized after I looked at this thing one, these yellow lines are railings. Is that? It returns on,
Well, you have to have a rail that comes cord ADA at both sides of the ramp that comes to the end plus a foot, so that's the only way you can achieve it.
Where, what are you talking about?
So if you look at if you look at the plan,
okay, that's why I'm so happy that we're here, because,
so this rail comes down the rail, your questioning is this rail coming down here?
oh, on the, okay, see,
It's on the face of the
it's
building.
on the face of the building. When I looked at it, just look it back to the page and I'll try to explain to other board members. Okay, when I look, this is a drawing here with the elevation that's on the south side. These yellow lines represented railings for people to hold going up and down the stairs, up and down the ramp. This here is on the side of the building that's angled, it's not actually
Right.
going up, okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Curiosity question? This side of the building has, not historically, but it's had for numerous years, flower boxes along there,
Yeah.
which add to the overall ambiance and whatever of the village. Are they, there's no indication as to what's happening to those. It would be something to think about.
But they have no, they're not historical.
Not historical, right? It adds to the ambiance of the village, it's something that,
If they're maintained, yes.
yes, that's the right word.
For that condition
Sometimes,
there.
That big-
some because they're.
If they're maintained, okay, you just left out on here, when it said repair and repaint, you didn't put down what the color was, I'm assuming it's this color here, but,
Yes, it is.
okay, so just somehow tie it in so it's clear. I heard you now, I just want to make sure I understand what I heard. The air vent that's on the side of the building here, you're taking out and re-rigging it in. Okay, that's what that was, okay. Did you people follow what I was saying? Okay.
I just wanna go back to the first level, and so your windows are changing, you're adding in paneling in place of a lot of the windows, and then the side door is changing. Because it's a double door now, and you're putting in a single door.
Yeah, here,
Yeah, here to here.
yeah.
And, I mean, it's hard to tell because, I mean, this is a simplified drawing, but, to me, I mean, I'm not staring at the building right now, I'm looking at this photo, so to me, what, you know, you've got these columns separating all the windows currently that, you know, extend up into the upper level porches, but that detail really kind of seems lost in the, new
What, to
drawings.
make it one door instead of two?
No, I'm talking about, there's columns, right,
Yeah.
between all of the windows
Yeah.
that, you know, it's the same lines that extend up, but that really appears to be, detail looks to be lost on the new drawings. I mean, I personally don't care, you know, the design of these railings and fretwork that, you know, that is minor to me. I see that as a style thing, but like these columns seem,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
They're still there, they're still projecting, it's kind of hard to show in
Okay.
a drawing, they're still there, they're still carrying the prominence in the building.
Yeah.
but they don't have any of the
Elevation.
detail on
Yeah, it'll
the,
be more clear with an elevation, but I see what you're saying. It's not gonna change, because the reason why this door is getting smaller is because we're squeezing in a bathroom, because there's currently no bathroom on the first floor.
Mhm.
And so it's forcing us to eat up a little bit of that space.
Mhm.
And so I think it's just something that we should add with an elevation, showing that the door changes, but it doesn't
the
actually
space
change.
doesn't
It
change.
doesn't change the column, because one of these windows here, as mentioned, is a
Is-
bathroom and a cooler, and I think
So
there.
those will be paneled
I think
instead
that
of.
there's either a panel or a frosted and then a panel, but it won't impact this vertical line. But I think it'll be more clear with an elevation there. I
Is
see what
that,
you're saying.
are you talking about the vertical line, or are you talking about?
The vertical line, but also
the
that there's detailing at the top of every column that it
Okay.
appears to be
the column
absent.
trims, Okay,
Yeah, from the new drawings.
that's not a problem, we can get.
And I think that would be an
That's
important,
minor. That's no
detail.
problem.
And the fret detailings and the little brackets and things likewise should be kept on this side of the building also. Not just the front, but on this side.
Yeah, the corals, the brackets.
Whatever. Okay. And in terms of these panels, they're a decent sized panel. Have you ever thought of any sort of detailing in terms of, you know, like you would around a door or something that makes the panel more than just a blank wall like that? I mean,
Okay.
Well, I think also he said it might be frosted glass, so,
oh,
Well, I think we've jumped here now to this front paneling and not this.
oh, sorry, am I talking about something totally different?
what was that?
So, what I guess, I didn't want to interrupt.
I interrupt all the time.
I just want to make sure that, you know, if you had other things you want to go through, okay, so what I'm left questioning myself, and this is, I'm trying to understand the intent here, is are you looking to keep this horizontal mullion and all this division? Is that where the board's asking?
Yes.
Or saying that we can't change the presentation of any of the windows?
I would say the windows on the first floor, as the first floor exists, should remain, with the exception that you may end up going to insulated glass.
Well,
They
we
should-
don't do those, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm open to that changing, but I need more
We need to see
information.
what the windows
Yeah, we need to
look like.
see what these windows look like, because it does look like the windows are getting smaller, right? There's more, trim around them, so.
Are they metal or wood?
They're going to be wood, yeah, that replica.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I think, you know, like, it is an enclosed porch right now technically, right? So it kind of has the same spacing as the porches above, although it's enclosed with glass. When you change the window style and the windows get smaller, then that changes the look of the first floor. And so, I mean, I'm not married to it staying exactly like this, but, that's why I'm asking about, you know, the detail on the columns, because it does look like that whole level has been stripped of.
Yeah, we
Some of
can,
it's
we can add
detail.
some of the.
Yeah,
the-
I mean, we
the
have
finer
windows,
details.
yeah.
The windows, you know, like I say, the reason I'm asking, so we know how to kind of reapproach this. You know, the appearance of the building, you know, every owner has their desires, and that's what we're working with here to bring those forward. I'm trying to understand the things to go back to work with David and the architect there to say, okay, this is what we can, you know, how can we make this to be acceptable?
But I think a big part of the concept of this window and this paneling is, I mean, it's a beautiful building. We love this building. We're super excited about this project. If you look at the first floor, the windows are a disaster.
Yeah,
I mean, they look terrible.
and they're not historic.
They're not historic. They're added after to enclose a porch that also wasn't original. I mean, the windows on the first floor right now, look on the outside, a disaster. On the inside, even worse. And the intention of some of this new layout on the first floor is actually to carry some of the more beautiful features of these second and third floor windows down to the first floor, which weren't done in this original conversion from porch to indoor porch or covered porch. And so that's part of, I know the architect's intention, part of it with this reconceptualization, because our first stab at the first floor was big storefronts. You know, to take what's there, which are basically storefronts, but kind of like paneled storefronts that don't look very nice, do big storefronts. But then when we evaluated the cost of that and the price of those storefronts and the installation, it seemed out of scope. And so we tried to carry down some of the detail, which is actually more historically accurate than, you know, what's actually on the first floor currently.
So you're saying the windows, the new windows on the lower level will relate to the windows on the upper level?
They relate
Okay.
much more than they do.
Then, and you can't really see that from the.
All the
Yeah.
demonstrations will kind of
Yeah, I mean,
work.
part of this rendering was done also really a little quickly to really show actually the color palette more than the detail of the
Okay.
window. And so I think some of the detail of the window, and quite frankly, some of the detail of this upper paneling, I think were lost. The intention of this rendering was done kind of quickly and really was to represent the color palette, because I know that was asked for. And what you're bringing up is really important and valid, and I think some of it was lost in this translation, so it needs to be updated. But the intention is to carry down actually more of the historic character than exists on the first floor window currently.
One thing I would say in relation to these windows, which I have issues with, but these are multi-light windows when all the other windows are double hung. You end up in a case, that multitude of lights in there is not in keeping with anything I've ever seen on that building. That becomes a detraction to me in terms of the air, in addition to all the fretwork and everything else that's there. I mean, here I'm looking at a building, every window is a double hung window, except we're putting on the bottom story. As Jennifer says, there's probably other solutions. We're certainly willing to listen to you and look at what you're proposing. I mean, yeah, I would prefer a single window, but certainly maybe two, but certainly no lights in it, because it's not in keeping with any.
So sorry, those sconces
Those are
are.
inside.
He's not talking about that, he's talking about the.
He's talking about divided lights.
It's not like,
There's eight.
Are they called lights?
Yeah, it's fine, it's.
Okay, okay,
I'm clarifying to him.
Upstairs is 2/2 and.
They're double hung upstairs, and these are all multi-light windows, which again, makes it look entirely different. This is a discussion meeting. I'm sure the board members will, now that we've had this meeting and we have the ability.
What's nice about these, the existing
What's shown on
windows,
this rendering? So there's a little confusion. The rendering is kind of.
It's only there for color, yeah, just.
The rendering is kind of obscuring a lot of this conversation, because the rendering is rendering the current picture, and this is actually, this rendering here, I would almost like remove from this conversation, and we should look at plan elevation, because this rendering is showing, this is the layout of the windows.
I think we are, and Alex, we'll work through a lot of this as we go forward. I have a good idea. So two things. The double hung versus solid panel window. Double hungs are a completely different aspect, and they really don't fit on that first floor. In my opinion.
Right, and I wouldn't want
I
that.
think he was talking more about like the 2/2 is different than.
It's entirely different.
Dividing windows is always a subjective call, so as far as changing the mullions,
Are these
No.
windows designed to open?
these are all fixed,
They're
correct?
all fixed.
And we fixed, yeah.
Okay.
What's nice about the existing design of these windows is that it's so open. It feels welcoming. This this is design stuff that has, may not have to do with us, but this is more of a wall. I mean, I know
It's
we're
because
But
the
see,
windows
that
are
is-
small.
but that-
charcoal
but
gray
that is-
behind it, and I
We're
realize
also
that.
making that part of the building envelope, so you have to understand that.
It's no longer
What is there now
It's
doesn't
not.
meet any energy code whatsoever.
Right.
And we have to bring it up, so we have limitations, there's certain things where unfortunately, we have to do in order to bring this forward.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount, and not neither here nor there, but the amount of work that we need to get the HVAC to work in this building, as it is, even upgraded, is amazing. So if we went back to, these windows that are single pane, we wouldn't even be able to.
We would never,
I just,
do single.
yeah, no, and I'm just trying to find
I
a,
think it's more the style of the window.
Is there some way you could, rather than having so many, can you combine two of them to make a larger?
we can look at it, I think a lot of the intent, and again, I can't speak to the architect, so we're gonna work on this some more, is to maintain the vertical portion of the vertical aspects of those windows. So we start
Yeah,
changing
right,
that, we start
right,
changing the aspect of those windows.
Yeah.
So I'm a little concerned with that, in all honesty. What I can see, and again, David will probably know later, but, is, if we bring back this horizontal element in here and eliminate the other ones, so we end up
Well,
bringing
that's
this,
what- yeah.
we maybe make this mutton here a little bit larger here, in order to give that feel across there, maybe that would, eliminate the rest of the
This
divisions.
might make it too busy too.
Yeah, it's a lot more
Break
complicated.
Yeah.
break up here.
I think
Well,
a lot
then it
of
makes your
this-
windows even smaller.
I think a lot of this also came through conversation back and forth with architect and general contractor, also on feasibility. Because it's a bit complicated. Because again, our original plan was big storefronts, and it's not feasible. I mean, that's what we wanted, big, wide
Well,
open, huge windows.
you've heard us, one of the major issues, if I understand it right, is this first floor. It's such a contrast to what has been there historically, the fretwork, the size of the window panels, the fact that there's lights in ones and not in others, is a major issue, and this up here, which we will look at in terms of discussing ourselves and trying to understand, and looking at it from different viewpoints. I think we have any other information, questions?
I don't think so.
Then do I have a motion to table this?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to
Application.
table application number 2026-044 till the next meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then we have, so thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
And we have minutes to approve.
So this is all, sorry, this is just second floor, yeah, this one.
Yeah, there's the,
The brick and this is the
Yeah.
woodwork, right?
It's interesting, I spoke to one of the, out of happenstance, I was out there Sunday, walking around looking at things, and a person who used to work in the building came over and was very curious, and it was interesting. One of the biggest things that she was concerned about were the dumpsters,
Was what?
the existing dumpsters that are always out along the sidewalk.
and that's why we were.
Yeah, I understand,
closure around
and when I
that.
saw that, I thought, like, this person's gonna be really happy to know that that is not gonna be a visual issue anymore.
No, and this, we appreciate the board, input on this, like I say, a lot of this is, everybody's got their version. I don't know what the right way to say it is, but, that what they're looking for, so this is, the way that the owner sees the building, I think it's a good application personally. But again, it's a very subjective thing, and that's why we're here before the board, to find out, to get the direction, to be able to find the mending ground between the board's direction and the owner's desires, and find that we get the best.
I think it's
mitigation
always
we can.
helpful if the owner or the architect is providing an example of the design choices that you've made, because that's what's objective, right? We see this in the historic photo of, on this date, or it's, somewhere else in the village, because that gives us another point of reference than what is currently sitting in front of us right now, which sometimes we have a tendency to, this is what we're used to seeing, because that's what's there right now.
You guys are
but-
seeing this for the first time in the
Right.
last 2 weeks. We've been working on it for the last year.
Yeah.
So,
Have you looked in the library or any other resources of the progression of
I've
that
got
building?
all sorts of photos.
It would be helpful if you brought those in, okay? I've got some photos and books that have pictures in it, and I'm certainly gonna go home and look at those in response to the various, down on the first floor.
If you wanna share those with us, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
the intent of this project is really to be a part of the fabric of China.
Right.
I've grown up around here, been here my whole life, so since I
Yeah.
can remember, my days go back to, I did the renovation of the grandstand. Me and my dad, I was a steel fabricator, did all that when we had to save it for, when we red flagged it, so we were gonna have a fair. So that was my summer, literally.
Well, I used to go
Yeah.
to Slattery's Market, or not Slattery's Market, on Hess's Meat Market, to end up getting meat and cold cuts and whatever else.
Right.
So the point being is that this is an important project to the owner, it's an important project to me, it's a town that we love.
It's an important
Yes,
part.
And we
and
want-
the
we
town,
want to-
I think the town's very excited to.
And we're looking forward to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But
Yeah, definitely.
because the building has changed and evolved over the years, so it's kind of, you just, whatever period of time you've decided you want to reference, bring that
Yeah.
photos to, or those reference points to us, so that we
Yeah,
can change our mindset from looking at the building we were accustomed to looking at for however long we've lived here, to whatever point in time you're trying to reference, because that's helpful.
Good.
Thank you very much,
Thank you all, thank you so much, nice to meet you all. Good night.
and
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the Monday, April 27th, 2026 meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve
Second.
the minutes of April 27th to 2026.
All in favor?
Aye.
That ends the meeting. Thank you all for coming.
I think that-